All right, let's get into game one. I'm playing against Colin Merrily Matthews, who is also a member of the kitchen. And he's going to open up with an Ultra Ball here. Pretty tough decision. It seems like his hand doesn't have a ton going for it. He does have this copy of Buddy Poffin in the hand that is going to allow him to get another Pokemon. I think if I was Colin, I would have probably started with the Buddy Poffin, just kind of take a look at the deck, see if you wanted to even expend the resources using this Ultra Ball, because now getting rid of Turo and Mist Energy is pretty rough, especially in the mirror match where if you let your Kangaskhan take a hit, using that Turo is really good, especially even too if your opponent is playing the low bunny, you're playing the low bunny, and their low bunny hits into your low bunny, then you can Turo your low bunny and kind of just like delete their turn, which is pretty nice. I opened the Pidgey here, which is really nice as well. I also get the Buddy Poffin for Fan Rotom, and it's probably going to be a Duskull for the other Pokemon, just because like that's kind of your bread and butter combo. And yep, so we get the Fan Rotom, get the Duskull, and then I'm going to get to go for that Fan Call, and Fan Call is going to search those other three guys I was missing. So we get double Baneri and Ditto as well. Because I do have that copy of Latios in hand, I can retreat for free into the Ditto and then use a transformative start ability to then get Kangaskhan out of the deck. It's going to allow me to draw two more cards. And unless Colin's hand is really insane, there's really a low chance of this Kangaskhan being knocked out on the following turn. And I draw a Lily off the top, which is pretty crazy. So my next turn's slated to be very, very good. Colin, I think, draws that Lily for turn, I think, if I saw correctly. So he's just going to slam that Lily's Determination, draw himself a brand new hand, brand new deck, and see what goes from there. My next turn is slated to be really crazy. I have like a Milli Vanilli Badilli Gazillion cards in hand, and I'm going to be able to pretty much do whatever I want. My hope here is that Colin doesn't end up getting like Lopunny Prime Catcher, Jet Energy, but because he did use that copy of Ultra Ball to discard the Mist Energy, he's -1 energy in his deck, so the chances of him getting that are going to be a lot lower. Maybe if I was Colin, I would have considered attaching the Mist Energy to either the Pidgey or the Baneri, and then that, old, tale's old as time. You have a hand full of items, and then your opponent puts down a Badoo. Another Ultra Ball here that's got Colin a little bit thinking. He's thinking and thinking. He gets rid of a Bossazor and Kieran. Pretty rough discards for these Ultra Ball, but then he's going to use that Dusclops to trade his Dusclops for my Pidgey. Pretty good trade for him. Being able to get Pidgey out up is a pretty big deal in the mirror match. And he's going to go for Switch and Badoo. This is a really good turn for our Colin. But I'm going to be able to answer back with my own copy of the Dusclops. I go for the Lily's Determination here. I'm going to draw myself 6 brand new cards. And then if I do use this Duskull or Dusclops onto this Badoo, it'll bring me to 7. So I'm just trying to see if I rip an out to the Lopunny, and it does not look like I do so, but I can use Fan Rotom potentially as well. So I could use my Duskull to knock out his Pidgey, and then Fan Rotom knock out Badoo, which is a pretty solid turn as well. Yep, get the jamming for the Fan Rotom, and I guess I opt to just save the Skull. Yeah, without access to Pidgeot on this turn, it could be kind of bad, but I guess it's fine to save it as well, because I don't really have an answer to his Lopunny on this following turn. He's going to be able to draw 9 cards here with the combination of Liz Determination plus the Fez and Dippity. Yep, he goes for the Fez, draw 3. And it looks like he drew the Lopunny there. He bunches another Duskull. And I don't believe he drew an energy card. Again, this not drawing energy card is definitely coming up to bite him. And because this Baneri isn't the active on my following turn, if I can go like Dusknor plus Boss's Order up Baneri, or yeah, I can just Dusknor and then Fanroar knock out Baneri. We saw that Colin did have that Lopunny in hand. He tells me after the game, he's like, well, I evolved. I probably should have just evolved into it. Would have made my life a lot easier. And I was like, well, I agree. Let's see here. Yeah, here may able to knock out just both of his bunnies, which is a huge swing in my favor. I believe I just play a Nest Ball here. And I'm just debating on whether or not I want to put another Duskull down or I want to get Fez. But I think Fez here is also just pretty good just to be able to future-proof my board. If my opponent doesn't want to take a knockout on Fanroom and kind of get back into the game, this is also pretty good. But I asked Colin, I was like, you mind if I switch this out? He said, yeah, it's fine, bro. And I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. Appreciate you, big dog. And I'm debating on if I want to get the Skull down, because I think Skull basically guarantees me game. If he wants to use his Skull and my Skull, like, that's also fine. But I'm looking to be in a pretty good scenario here. I'm going to go down to 2 prizes. So if Colin wants to attack with Blood Moon, he's either going to have to pop his copy of Dusclops and then use the Nor, which isn't going to win him the game. If he does have Dusknor plus a copy of the Blood Moon, he can take 3 prizes. Unfortunately, he's at 4, so he can make it so that my Duskulls are now useless. And I get a slightly greedy play here, I would say for sure, is I retreat this Fan Rotom, knowing I pretty much want to attack with it again to be able to draw 2 cards off this. I think I'm just looking for maybe another copy of Mega Lopunny to kind of prevent my board from getting like super blown up by this Dusknor, but I end up just, yeah, doing the same thing. Gonna take the knockout. And now if Colin wants to use this Dusclops over here, then I'm going down to 1 prize, which is pretty scary for him, considering I still have my Lopunny down, and he can't bench anything that can live a hit except the Blood Moon, which, I mean, he's probably going to want to bench for sure here. We see the Pidgeot here, and I don't know if he has the rare candy. I'd assume if he's searching it instead of the Blood Moon, he probably has it. Or he's hoping to just rip it off the Pheasantipity here because that Flip the Script is live because Fan Rotom did knock out his Baniri. So, yeah. If you did have access to Baniri here, this definitely could have been a different game, right? Because, right, you can Dusknor, use Dusknor to pop the. I guess I could say if you want to take 3 prizes, so you can use like Dusknor to pop the Lopunny and then either Boss's Order, Counter Catcher. Or I guess you can't counter. Yeah, you can still counter catch. You counter catcher up the Lopunny, hit it with the Dusknor, maybe Iono, and then yeah, puts me to 1 card, 1 prize, knocking out my Lopunny. So it would be pretty devastating. Obviously, like he does have that Duskull in play, so Duskull would just die to a Boss's Order as well. We see the counter catcher here. I think the counter catcher on the Duskull here is pretty good. Now this makes it so that Ursaluna cannot be knocked out by just my Lopunny, but this does gives me the opportunity to draw like a Boss's Order or a Prime Catcher for game. So I don't believe Prime Catcher has been used yet. So yeah, I get to promote my Kangaskhan, take the knockout, or he takes the knockout. I get to, yeah, Cypher Maniac, and just go for a Jet Prime Catcher, and then yeah, just draw him off the Cypher. So we go to game 2 here. I get a pretty decisive game 1, I would say, after the Lopunny turn, or the knockout double Baniri turn. I would say that one was pretty much cooked for Colin. Let's see, we're going to go into game 2 here. Let's just skip ahead a little bit till we get to the actual game. All right, so Colin decides to go second. I think it's probably correct to go second in the mirror. You're just more likely to get a better setup. Thing here that helps me a lot is that I do play Fan Rotom and Colin does not. So Fan Rotom can help you just kind of get your whole board established off of just the one searching card, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I'm going to get all the guys down, and I'm just debating whether or not I want to put this big guy into play without access to a Latias. And I think I decided to end up doing it. Yep, I'm just going to Badoo, grab Kangaskhan, draw 2 more cards, because I do have the switch in hand, so I can just kind of switch right back into Badoo, which is nice, because what's most likely is going to happen is my opponent is going to want to use their Badoo into me. And yeah, I'm just going to look. I'm going to preemptively discard the Pheasantipity and the Blood Moon. They're pretty bad cards, like early game. And yeah, I'm just going to preemptively grab that copy of Lopunny. Assuming I wasn't going to get Badoo here, I mean, it's pretty bad for me because my hand's really good. I can have gone Lopunny plus the Lopunny plus the copy of Lilies to kind of just draw myself a whole new hand, hopefully rep the energy to take a knockout. And if I whiff, I can just use this Badoo here. It's going to slow down Colin's game a lot. If he doesn't end up getting that Badoo into me, it's really nice because then I can potentially evolve into my own Pidgeot. Let's see what Colin wants to do here. Yeah, he's going to just put down another copy of Duskull. We'll probably see either a copy of Baniri, or we could see that Badoo come down. Putting down one Baniri in the mirror match is a little bit suspect, but because and I ripped the stadium there off the top, which is pretty crazy, which is going to allow me to blow up this Badoo, take a prize, and then yeah, Colin is just forced to promote a Pokemon, and he can never promote a 2 prize there because if I like somehow high roll the like energy plus the evolution, like he's cooked. Like I do actually have in hand, and I'm just gonna use the Fan Rotom here to take the knockout. And this is a pretty big swing into my favor. I don't have any 2 prizers on the board for Colin to take advantage of with the Lopunny. So that's really nice. If he's gonna want to take a knockout this turn, he's gonna have to use his Dust Skull to like pop my Pidgey, which is gonna put me down to 3 prizes, which means then he pretty much cannot use another Dust Skull for the rest of the game. Because then if I take a knockout on one of his 2 prizes, I go to 1 prize, which is gonna take off his Dust Skull for the rest of the game. See Ultra Ball here, and he does have the Mist Energy in hand, so he actually can attack with the Lopunny. And this is another reason I just really love Fan Rotom in this deck, is it gives you a really low committal attacker, like a low commitment attacker in like just 70 HP, 70 damage, 1 energy. All you do is have a Stadium in play. It can be a little bit difficult to get Stadium sometimes, but between like Cypher Maniac and Pidgeot, you have like a decent amount of ways of getting to it. And unfortunately for Colin, like he just kind of has to get to a prize card here. Like I've already taken 2 prize cards, and it's gonna look really rough if he doesn't also apply some pressure. So he's gonna go for the Kangaskhan here to draw 2. And I believe he rips the Dusclops, and I think he just like kind of debates here, like does he Dusclops the Pidgey? Dusclops the Pidgey is pretty good here because that means my only like advantage getting card on my board is gone if I were to potentially evolve. And actually just gonna Prime Catcher and smack into my Lopunny, and then pop the Pidgey. This is a really good play from Colin here. I really like this play. Let's see. So now I'm at 3 prizes. Colin's at 4. So we can potentially win on the following turn with that Dust Skull plus the Lopunny combo. And let's see. I'm going to take a look at my discard pile. That Pheasantipity is gone because I did get rid of it turn 1, which might bite me a little bit here, as, you know, I'm just kind of looking for something good to put down and draw me some cards. But it looks like I have like Switch, Mist Energy. Like I have a lot going in this hand for me. So I can definitely make something out of it. So yeah, I'm going to go for the Kangaskhan to draw 2. I get Stretcher plus Rare Candy, which is pretty crazy. So I can use this Stretcher to grab back that Pidgey. So I can potentially get another... I can potentially get Pidgeot into play, which is a huge swing in this matchup. So yeah, I'm going to go for Night Stretcher for that Pidgey. And this can also potentially force my opponent to have... this forces my opponent to have a boss's order to be able to knock me out. But with the combination of Badoo, my opponent can't have Switch and Boss's Order to be able to knock me out, which is pretty nice. And because I'm not taking a knockout here, Blood Moon plus Energy plus Boss is not enough to knock out my Lopunny. So here I'm just going to be able to draw a brand new 6 cards. And I'm not really sure what I'm looking for here. Probably just an out to Pidgeot. And I go for this Badoo here. Colin's going to spend a Jet Energy on the Kangaskhan to draw 2 cards. Bang. 1, 2. And I'm just kind of hoping for not Clops to come down. As long as Clops doesn't come down, I'm kind of fine. But I think Colin already used a copy of Dusclops already. Okay, so it looks like he has 1 copy in there and 2 Duskulls as well. So this is probably his last Duskull, because, I don't know, 4 seems like a lot in this deck. I don't know if you really want 4. 3 is probably just like just enough. It looks like he draws a Psychic Pokemon there, but I think it's Klefki. But unfortunately, he looks like he draws like 2 or 3 items there. Looks like he's got a Buddy Poffin and maybe a Night Stretcher. So not allowed to play any of those cards under the Itchy Pollen. He did Jet Energy this Kangaskhan to the active so he can retreat into Lopunny. But because I'm at 3 prizes, it does pose a risk that if I go, you know, Dusknoir plus Lopunny and I'm able to kill it, like, that's just game because I'm at 3 prizes. And yeah, Colin's just kind of weighing his options here. Looks like he drew Boss's Order, Ultra Ball, Poffin. I think that's Dusknoir. He's just going to pass, which is, I don't know how much I agree with this play, just because, yeah. I don't know how much I agree with passing here, because at least, like, taking a prize there puts you to 3, so then if I whiff on my turn, it gives you, like, a win condition. Also, like, Fan Rotom would have been absolutely disgusting on this turn for him, because he could use Fan Rotom to take a knockout here, and then I'm forced to kind of have either Boss or Prime Catcher on this turn in order to win the game, because I can bring up a 2-prizer and then use the Dusknoir to pop his Duskull here on the bench. But yeah, definitely he got a little bit unlucky on like these later turns, but I think definitely the Baneri turn in game 1 could have been played a little bit better. And then I think this game, definitely the Badoo, I think, sealed it. But yeah, I think not applying pressure here, because like you lose anyway, like leaving this big guy in the active. I would have maybe at least switched into a 1-prizer, like just switch back into the Duskull. But then it's also like suspect, because it's like, okay, if I use the Duskull, or if I block with Duskull, and then Duskull gets knocked out, then like, do I have a win condition on my opponent's board? So I think like from this point, it's like kind of cooked. And so, yeah, that's going to be, I think this was round 3. So, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.